Good evening. Greg here, burning at both ends, burning on the back end of May 8th, 2018, approaching 10:30 p.m. Pacific. And today was a great day. I was running around a lot trying to get some parts made for one of my scientists, one of my customers at work. We're looking to get light on an end station. I work at an accelerator, and so we're just trying to create a sense of urgency. That's actually some leadership advice, and tonight's topic is about leadership, so I'll start there. Some great leadership advice that I received from a gentleman named James Fessmeyer at Kennedy Space Center. He says, with the team, do your best to create a sense of urgency. And so sometimes it's a little bit of a false sense of urgency. Sometimes you really need it. But let's talk about tonight's topic. Before we get in, let me also give a shout out to Brandon Kuntz. We had dinner tonight. He's helped me out with some things. I just want to extend some great appreciation to Brandon. We had a great conversation, great dinner, shared a lot of great leadership and life experience tips. And one of the other interesting things is that we are both huge fans of Gary Vaynerchuk, which I thought was very fascinating and interesting. As you all know, I'm a huge fan. I listen to him on a regular basis, love his content, love his style, and it was awesome that Brandon mentioned him before I did. So I thought that was really cool. We really connected on that, and we deepened the relationship, and really had a good time. But let's talk about leadership. Leadership and vulnerability, two words that really, I'm not sure if they really go together when you think of the classic style of leadership. I know when I think of a classic leader, it's this big, strong type of a person that has no fear and is never scared and never shows weakness. I think that's more the classic view. And in reality, my experience is the modern view is vulnerability is critical. And in my experience, when I'm leading or I'm being led, and I'll just talk about more when I'm leading, I believe leadership is about taking action. And with action come the possibility for mistakes. And admitting those mistakes, in my opinion, builds trust. And then trust empowers relationships and builds teams. And there's that word again, relationships. Relationships is everywhere. And I am definitely the type of leader that leads with action, as opposed to one that gives these dramatic speeches. I'm not much into dramatic speeches. And I also believe that anyone can say anything, and if someone's a good actor, then it can just be words. But there is no denying action. If I'm staring at my leader taking action, there is nothing that's it. I'm watching him or her do it, and I'm inspired by that. And so anyone can say things. I lead with action. And in my opinion, one has to be bold. I need to be bold to take action, especially when I'm leading and I'm doing this in front of a lot of people. And when I'm in action, I will definitely make mistakes. There's no doubt about it, or else I'm not really doing it right if I'm not messing up here and there. I can't be perfect. And then admitting those mistakes brings me closer to my team. And that lets them know that they can make mistakes and they can take risks. And as long as we have each other's back, that really just empowers the whole team. And great things happen when we're in that space, as opposed to operating from fear. Operating from, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this because what's he or she going to think? What's my leader going to think? And just going back to leadership, I think leadership is a lot like parenting. I have two beautiful girls. They're 4 and 7. And it's really a challenge raising kids. And what I find is that it is exactly leadership. There's no doubt about it. And it's the things I do every day are me being in leadership as a parent. It's those little things. It's what I do when I get up in the morning, and how when they get up, and how I greet them, and how we have breakfast, and how we get to school, and when we come home from school, and what do we talk. I mean, it's this repetition. And And it's these little things. It's a lot like leadership at work. It's how we greet people when they come in, how we address the team, how we show up for meetings, how all these little pieces. And it's amazing. People realize all this stuff. And the same way that making a decision to do something, exudes some type of effect on people. I'm not sure if that's proper English, but we'll work with it. You know what I mean? Not making a decision or delaying a decision is also having an effect on people. So by not doing things, by not having agendas for meetings, in my opinion, when I don't have an agenda for a meeting, I'm not respecting my team's time. I'm telling them to show up somewhere, and I don't have a clear path of why we're here or a clear reason. There's no clear result. And one thing I'm big on is time. And I guess one of my famous quotes, if I have any, is, I don't have time to waste time. It's amazing. I can't get time back. When I'm on my deathbed, I don't want more money, I want more time. I can always make more money, but I can't get time back. So I'm big on not wasting people's time. And I think leadership is a big piece to that, respecting people's time. And of course, with leadership, like parenting, it takes patience and persistence. There are those two words again. They tend to show up everywhere. Imagine that. Like I said before, I'm a firm believer it's in action. As my team will do as I do, not as I say. It's amazing. And when I get in the trenches with them, that means a lot, as opposed to staying up high at a higher level. And in my experience with this action component, there are two major types of leaders. There's the type of leader that moves toward what he or she wants. I find this makes it easy to succeed because the team knows where to move. The team can get in alignment and move in a direction. And then there's another type of leader that moves away from what he or she does not want. I feel that this makes it tough for the team because it creates an environment of fear. I had experience with a leader like that when I did some work for NASA, and it was kind of odd. I would show up for these web conferences because I was working in Berkeley, and the team was on the East Coast, and everyone was silent, and for some reason the leader was always late to every meeting. And I'm not talking like a minute or two, I'm talking like 5 or 10 minutes late to an hour meeting, which is, I think, substantial. Once again, if I'm late to my own meeting, I'm showing my team that this doesn't really matter. And what kind of message is that? And while we're sitting there waiting, no one would start the meeting. No one would talk. There was no small talk. And then the leader would show up and everyone was silent. And it was all about this person led by saying what they didn't want. It was lots of, and when I'm talking about things I don't want, I can't help but send out a lot of negativity. Oh, I don't want this. This is not good. We don't want to do that. And those words really have an effect on the team. If I'm constantly using negative words, that's going to have a negative impact. And this brings me to a totally random thing. This is one of my favorite drinks. Just bubbly water, as me and my kids call it, with just a slice of lemon placed in. Not squeezed in, but just placed in. Love that flavor, love that taste. Anyway, really healthy. So back to leadership. So it's like parenting. It's what we do every day. And another thing is that I find very important is being vulnerable as a leader. And I know this creates connection. And there is a fantastic video I highly recommend you watch. It's linked down below. It's Brené Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. Brené Brown just hits it on the head. She really kills it. I love her stuff. And she's got some great videos on empathy as well. But her Power of Vulnerability is worth the watch. Watch the whole thing. It's definitely worth it. And where this creates connection is, as a leader, when I make mistakes and I admit those mistakes, I'm getting closer to my team. I'm telling them it's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to take risks, because I'm taking risks too, and we all got each other's back. I said that before, but it's important to emphasize that. And I find that when a leader does not want to admit mistakes, it makes me think that they're just full of it. I mean, how can that be? How can a leader not make mistakes? No one's perfect. And also, it makes me feel like I'm alone. I feel very, just lonely when, because I know I make mistakes, and if my leader doesn't, then where does that put me? And I had this experience where I was running a company. It was a small business, about 20 people, and we had a parent company that was far away, and the parent company had acquired this company, and they hired me to run it. And, as I was there, I was experiencing the mistakes that they had made in acquiring the company. They really did, in my opinion, actually not in many people's opinions, they did not do the proper due diligence to acquire the company and understand what they had bought. The company needed serious investment. I brought in many experts to help me understand this, so this wasn't just my opinion. And they refused to admit mistakes. They put all these problems on my plate and were not helping, and it just created a lot of tension. Once again, I felt very lonely. I didn't feel supported, and it just kind of separated us, and I didn't feel like they were there with me helping, and it was a very strange experience. And like I said before, vulnerable leaders, they'll get in the trenches. I get in the trenches with my team. Let's do the dirty work together. It's very important. Let me get my hands dirty. That way, it doesn't feel like I'm above anybody else. I'm literally down there doing the hard work. As Gary Vee would say, this is the dirt, the clouds in the dirt. This is getting down and getting dirty with the dirt. If that makes sense, I think it does. And this connection that's created with this vulnerability, in my experience, just leads to so many other really high value things with the company, right? It shows that as a leader, I value my team. I'm admitting mistakes. I'm getting closer to them. I'm creating this connection. And then when it gets time to show appreciation, it's very authentic. It's not this fake thing that happens because I've been up on my perch this whole time thinking I'm perfect, and I come down, oh, good job, and then I go back up to my ivory tower. Valuing the team is extremely important, and the connection makes the valuing authentic, which is critical. And now people will bend over backwards to support the team, to support the leader. It's amazing. And then, the third major component that the vulnerability adds is trust. And I love this definition of trust. I clean it up a little bit for this. And my favorite definition of trust is allowing someone to royally screw something up. That's trust. And, just hands off, let them do it. Let's see what happens. Don't jump in when something bad's going to happen. Let them screw it up. And then when we trust each other, we can all take risks. And action toward risk, that's where incredible things happen. Right? If we're all playing it safe all the time, we're not going to do amazing things. But if as the leader I'm taking risks and I'm showing vulnerability and I'm making mistakes and I'm admitting those mistakes, then my team can take risks, they can push the envelope, they feel confident about doing this stuff, and we can just do great things. And when the team trusts each other, the energy can be focused on, these amazingly empowering things like creativity and execution and just these amazing things, as opposed to just being concerned with what not to do. Having a fear-based team where everyone's scared to do something bold. And I find that just can just cripple an organization. It can cripple a team. And the danger with leadership is whether you do or you don't, you're still making decisions, and that stuff, it just runs right through the team. Everyone knows what's going on. As a leader, I'm not going to be able to hide anything. So I might as well just put it out there and admit some things, admit some wrongs. And I find it brings everyone together. And so, and strong leadership, just like strong parenting, critically important. I think, a lot of problems that we see in society is the result of parents not stepping up to their jobs, and it's a tough job. There's no doubt with parenting, and leadership is a tough job too. It is challenging. It is every day, all the time. You're hit from many different angles, on many different types of problems, personal problems, business problems, technical problems, relationship problems. So yeah, leadership is tough, and my opinion is being a vulnerable leader is the way to go and create connection with your team. And that's my point now, and I'll stick with it. So y'all have a great night. Please subscribe to the channel. Join me on my journey. Start a journey of your own. Get inspired. If not by me, by someone else. If you like the beats you hear, that's my alter ego, G Money. I've been drumming for quite some time, so I write these drum songs, so check them out. I think they're pretty dope. And I've linked a bunch of motivational talks down below. Check them out, enjoy them. Some of the folks I'm really enjoy listening to. Of course, Gary Vaynerchuk, shout out to you. Thank you for all your content. I really appreciate it. Will Smith, Matthew McConaughey, Denzel Washington, a lot of actors. It's kind of interesting how it's a lot of actors. But anyway, check it out, subscribe, comment down below. I want to be of service to the folks that watch this, so please ask questions. If there's any way I can help, I would love to help. I find that to be very empowering. So yeah, have a great night, and I'll see you all soon.